Today, really, it's a situation where OTT penetration is high. We have 83% of U.S. broadband households having one or more services, and we have 50% of households having 4 or more services. And we have, a lot of competition out there, a lot of services, and people are very comfortable now with going outside the big three, which is not something we could have said 2 years ago. And so we have 61% of households now subscribing to not just one or more of the big three, but also other services as well, which is a huge turnabout from pre-pandemic. And we have certainly now people comfortable with subscribing to a lot of services, a lot of different services, but they're also experiencing overload. And an overload of content and overload of services. And they're looking to aggregation, bundling, simplified billing, ways to simplify their lives. And so we can contrast what we see in churn, which is always a threat for OTT services because of easy subscription, easy cancellation, but especially high now because of so much competition. Churn continues to trend and edge slightly upward for OTT services overall. But if we look at just the MVPDs, their churn is going down. Right, so the appeal of aggregation and of bundling is hitting with consumers, and that's not just for vMVPDs. We also see it happening with increased interest in subscription via service provider bundles and offers. And if we look very briefly at churn and engagement, churn and retention, we see that there's commonalities here. And content is king, it's true, but also the industry needs to look at cost and value as collectively the queen, if you will. And that's going to be increasingly important as we go forward because of rising price sensitivity and inflationary pressures and so on that consumers are now feeling. So it's very tangible to the average consumer. And if we look here, the top 5 reasons for churn come down to content and price. And if we look at curiously, why people will stay with a service, even though they don't feel strongly enough about it to actually recommend it to their family and friends, content and value factor heavily there. And so looking forward, content variety and exclusivity and high perceived value are going to be important for all phases of the customer journey, acquisition, retention, and churn.